Currently at the office today, and I want us to have a very quick chat and a very quick talk on something that is very, very important to student. Okay. Now, if you are a student or a past student, there's something that you have to know, which is what I'm going to talk about today: student success. Okay, student success. There are some things that one need to take into consideration as a student in order to be successful after school. Okay, you don't need to wait after school to find yourself in that space. Okay, so fast forward, if you are also a BYU student and you are not registered, kindly take the opportunity now and also register, because very soon registrations will be ending, and if you haven't registered, probability that you may not be enrolled this term will be very high. So if you are also a student and you are not registered, take the opportunity to register. Very, very, very important. Okay, now this is what I want to talk about, even though I'm working on registration now, but let's have a quick thought on financial literacy. Literacy. Okay, yeah, and this won't take much of your time. I'll be just done. Okay, we have all heard about debt before. Debt, like you owe. Okay, a debt is like some backlog there that you need to also fulfill, or you need to clear off. All right, most people are taught that debt is debt is dangerous and should be avoided whenever possible it is. Okay, from childhood or from your community or from wherever you're coming from. Hello, handsome, how are you? Thank you for joining. Coleman, yeah, I hope you're fine. So in our locality, in our area, we have been taught that debt is dangerous, and so we should try as much as possible to avoid debt. Now I'm going to show you that idea that debt is dangerous, debt is like something that's going to destroy you, was wrong. Debt is like going for an amount of money, owing some kind of group, and then that money becoming a backlog with you in the future that you have to sort it out. Okay, so like I was saying, most people are taught that debt is dangerous and should be avoided at all cost. At all cost. Now I'm going to show you something. There is what we call a good debt and a bad debt. If you borrow money to invest in something that will earn you money, that is actually called a good debt. If you borrow money, you borrow some kind of money and you use it for your personal gains, flashing, like live some kind of life, that is a bad debt. Now, the millionaire or the businessman is not afraid of debt. It's not afraid of owing. It's not afraid of going for some kind of money that is going to end up to become a debt, because they have an insight that, oh, I am borrowing this money, I'm going for this money to invest in this area and pay back the owner, or give back the owner his or her money. So businessmen, big tycoon. All right, so I had a breach of network. I am back again. So like I was saying, most people grow up believing that debt is an enemy. Never borrow money, pay cash whenever it's possible, and then debt is equal to financial weaknesses, which is actually wrong, and that's what I'm going to disprove today. So instead of avoiding debt, rather use the opportunity to go for the money or whatever cash it is, and use that to control assets that could benefit you in the near future. Okay. Now, the real danger is not about the debt or the money you are going to owe from a bank or owe from a group or owe from your brother or sister, but it's about how you are going to use that money to yourself. Whenever you get money from somebody and you invest it so wisely, it comes back as a profit for you. But when you use that money for flashy reasons, it goes against you. And that's where we have the bad debt and good debt. So we have bad debt and good debt. You will surely pay this money when you have insight on where to put this money and make it back. Now, when you borrow money to invest in a business that is going to appreciate or make you money, you don't have the debt. But when you borrow money and invest in cars, flashy cars, in lifestyles, upgrade consumer goods and other stuffs, it comes back as a bad debt to you. So it affects you. So in general, you can see that debt itself or borrowing is not a bad act, but the rich takes the advantage. For example, if you are going to take about 5-6 years to raise about $20,000 or $100,000 or let's say $10,000, how many years are you going to save that money? But you know, one of the things is that this money you want to borrow is with a bank or with a group or with somebody that with a proper way of acquiring this money from the person, you can get that money and you can invest that money in a business that you think is viable or viable. Do not go for money to put in something that you are not so sure of. If you have something, you believe in this thing that is going to work, rather you can take good steps, get the money, put in there, pay the interest on the money, because definitely after paying the interest, you are going to have something. You are going to speed up your success instead of waiting for about 3. Okay. So borrow to acquire something like a rental property. If only you have one, you have that idea of rental properties, businesses, revenue generating assets. If you don't have this insight, do not go and borrow. If you don't have insight in these areas, do not go and borrow. Sit down, look for businesses, income generating assets. Now, in my next talk, I'm going to talk about revenue generating assets that you can put your money there or you can invest your money there. So, going for loans, going for monies from people and investing in business will speed up your success rate, because you can't be staying for about 4 years saving. When are you going to get $10,000? Or when are you going to get $20,000 or $30,000? So these banks have this money. You just have to pass through some few requirements and then you are good to go. So know that debt are not actually a failure, but it is our own ways of using this money that becomes a debt or a failure to us. Okay. Now, borrow money for acquisition, but don't borrow money.
Come.
Go. Go and come later. Oh. Otherwise, I'll stop teaching you guys. When I tell you go and come. But you said that. So sorry about that. So borrow money for acquisitions, not for ego or not for show. What do I mean by acquisition? Acquisition is like borrowing money to invest in an income generating asset that can make you or speed your success rate. But if you borrow to live a flashy life, you don't have it. So do not be afraid of the banks. Do not be afraid of people who want to lend you money. Rather, find the risk, look for this money, take them, and find something that is worthwhile and put the money there and stick to it. In a short while, you'll be done. You will pay them back. And it all boils down to the point of discipline. Bear in mind, if you want to stay up and keep working, you are going to take a long time. And this money will speed up your success rate. This money will speed up your success rate. I'm going to come back later on with a very detailed explanation on how to go for these monies and invest in businesses that is going to help you. Debt are not bad. They strengthens you, they give you insight to think and make plans of paying them early. They also give you chances for you to look for revenue generating asset or stuff that can really push your success. So debt in general are not actually bad as they think. Okay, all right. So one of the major things we are talking about when it comes to acquisition, it should be like, let's say, if you have knowledge on real estate, fine. If you don't have, don't go there. If you have any knowledge on any profitable business, look for somebody who has a lot of money. Look for a bank that is willing to give you some kind of loan. Okay, take that money, quickly put it in there, pay the interest to the bank, and own it for yourself. Because if you want to stay up for about 3, 4 years, 5 years, it's going to take a long while for you to raise that kind of money. I learned this, and I think it's worth it. Because if I'm supposed to work for about 6 years before I can make $100,000, how many years do you think I'm going to be successful? But if I have a right acquisition, if I have a bank and I can be able to go to the bank, talk to the bank, let them understand my direction, and then the bank trying to invest in me and then give me some kind of interest on the money, I think it's worthwhile than staying. Please and please, loans you shouldn't be scared of. You should never be scared of, because these are things that the rich do not run away from. Do not be afraid of loans. Do not be afraid of debt. And do not be afraid of borrowing. We're taught that do not borrow, but actually it's the other way around. The rich borrow to advance themselves. The poor borrow to spend. Borrow to expand yourself, but do not borrow to squander, or do not borrow to spend that money. Rather, borrow that money to expand yourself. Trust me, whenever you borrow, it sets you up. It gives you that capacity to discipline yourself to work and pay for that loan and own the profit in the long run. Anybody who is scared of that will have to work a lot before you can attain that height. With proper guidance, seek for a loan that doesn't have a lot of interest, and then acquire it and use that for your businesses and expand. These loans will speed up your success rate in a short while. In about a year and two, you are gone, because you are working. You are paying back their interest and you are working with their money. If you want to stay, so it's going to take you about 4 or 5 years before you're going to make it. All right, so I leave this with you, and I'll be back some other time to share some success tips. If you're always interested in having some of this, I would advise that you always stay around me and then learn. All right, so have a blessed time.